Linda, you're seeing the world.
I'm here.
Linda, you're seeing the world. Every time you show up on Facebook, you're in a different state or country or something, you know?
I have been doing a lot of traveling, but we're home for a bit now.
Yeah.
It's been a lot, so it's
Did you
good to
like
be home.
did you like the Southwest?
I did. It was a bit, all these photography tours end up being a bit more adventurous than I real than I
You
realized.
you're with a guide, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a really nice way to see it when you don't know where to go. But like for years, I've been going out there and just fumbling around looking for it yourself, you know,
Yeah.
which is just kind of fun, but you don't produce as many photos, you know. But you know,
Well, and it can be a challenging area to photograph because the
yeah,
light can be tough. The skies aren't,
yep.
you know,
It's all
but
about it's
some of
all
the
about the
areas
weather.
you can't go unless you're like because you're on native land, so you have to
Yeah,
be with,
yeah, those areas I never really went to much. So
yeah.
the
But
Slot
it,
Canyons, and then where is it? Four Corners. Those places, only places I've been with guides. There's so many places you can go where you don't have to do that.
yes,
That
and we
are
really
that are
only
just
just
you only scratch the surface of it.
exactly,
So,
exactly. Yeah, it was just a tiny drop what we saw. So
and on your own, you can go at your own pace, but you got to kind of know where to go. So
yeah, I wouldn't want to get lost out there. Mm-mm. And the driving is challenging. So,
Hey Doug, how are you doing?
how am I doing? I'm all right. I'm doing better.
A little bit better. Okay, good.
Yeah.
You're surrounded by birds.
There's a big fallout supposedly happening tonight up near Taos. There's supposed to be a lot of birds coming in tomorrow.
Oh, goody. Now that I'm leaving town tomorrow morning.
But what I heard is this your trip out west?
Yeah, well, yeah, I got to go to Denver I'll be back Saturday midday.
But you're flying.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So maybe Sunday I need to go to Taos.
It'll probably be over by then.
Probably.
I don't know. I'm not going because I still can't hold a camera. So
We have seen very few migratory birds. Saw some a week or so ago, but nothing recently. I mean, I've got the Orioles here, but
there's an app I was told about the other day called Birdcast. Whether it's an app or a website, but Birdcast, it tells you across the United States where the birds are moving between the hours of 9 p.m. and 6:30 a.m., which is when the migration, you know, where they usually fly, make their move overnight, you know, and it tells you where it is. And it might not be in our area, it might be in the area next to us or something, you know, the flyways or whatever, but it's a new one. Everybody's talking about it.
wow.
So
Is it free, Doug?
as far as I know, I don't know. I don't know if it's an app or a website. Mike Florian told me about it, and he said he hasn't really. He looked at it, he noticed that a lot of the activity was not in our area. It was west of us or east of us, you know. But
I don't see it in the App Store.
no, I don't think it's an app. I think it's a website called Birdcast, like forecast, only Birdcast. I have no idea. Since I'm not looking, I'm not you know, when I need it, I'll go find it.
Okay, yeah, it is a website.
Huh? The website?
Cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
it looks cool.
You know, I have a quick question. This kind of came up for me after our meeting on Thursday because it just seemed like a lot of people were kind of feeling frustrated with how their images were judged. And as one of the judges, I was frustrated with, you know, being able to judge the images fairly with the resolution and the pink cast and the brightness, yada, yada. So how do you guys, so I set my screen for my images when I edit them to 65% brightness because that's what Bayphoto told me to set it to in order, like that's what they recommend
For printing.
to get the printing correct.
65% or D65.
I just go to the settings on my computer for brightness and I put it at 65%.
They come out okay?
Yeah, and
Okay.
recently, I mean, I don't really print much up, so.
No, I don't know. I wasn't there, but I heard, I think Keith,
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know,
somebody else
I-
mentioned to me that things were
I
washed out and
downloaded,
contrasty and.
yeah, I
and-
downloaded the pictures from the meeting, you know, and they looked fine on my computer, and a lot of the colors were just blown out on when we saw them at the meeting. So
That was,
Yeah.
I was telling Keith that when he told me that, I was telling him I heard, because we bought that projector based on Mike Florian's recommendation. And Maurice was president at the time and he went out and got it. And then he went out of town. And when he came back, it was too late to return it. So we were stuck with it. And,
It was a cheapie.
and Mike Florian got it working, but he said he found some issues too. And there was a certain order you had to hook the machines together, the laptop to the projector. And I don't know what it was. Something had to be turned on first, and then you hook it in and search for it, and it comes out fine. And if you do something in the wrong order, it gets all screwed up.
Well, the bigger
And
deal
I
was,
don't know anything about it, but it's supposedly in our instructions somewhere. Someone
I
said they
do
wrote it
know
down.
that, I do know that Maurice would go in and manually adjust it without a meter and also the laptop.
But that hasn't been done lately, I don't think. Because last time I was at a club and watched projected things, I thought they looked fine.
No, what I'm saying is he manually did it without any program or meter or anything.
Yeah.
He just eyeballed it.
Yeah.
And so that gets you in the ballpark, but not correct. My
Well,
guess is the
I
projector's
don't
a
think
little
he's
hot.
had possession of the.
He hasn't had it in a long time.
Oh, I don't think anybody's messed with it since then,
Yeah, but something
unless
happened.
you guys have.
Something happened on the way it was hooked up, or somebody bumped something or did something, but I don't know what it is.
No.
I'm
I have
guessing.
nothing, I don't know anything about it. I just know what I was told when they got the projector. There was
Yeah, it
some
would need to be
issues.
calibrated at a minimum because we
And we-
definitely
and-
had brightness
And
issues.
people tried that and it didn't work either. So,
So what do you guys do for your,
I just do what my computer says and that's why I enter them.
It,
They either look good at club or they don't. Sometimes they go there and the whites it's contrasty. The whites are blown out or they're too gray or whatever. So, and black and white pictures. The color ones seems to be good. Once in a while, the red channels are kind of vibrant.
It kind of depends on the equipment you've got and what generation it is. If you're a Mac user and you're using some of the, say, Apple Studio Display, it comes pretty well calibrated.
Your computers pump out pretty good stuff, no matter what.
Because
No matter what.
Apple sets their computers to a standard and they set their monitors to one of many standards. Hang on. Hello. You going to join? Okay. Okay.
No, Linda, the thing is, no one knows.
okay, well, then I'm just gonna.
People
go
have
with the-
opinions, but they
Yeah,
don't know for
When
sure.
you judge, you just have to judge what's up there, so.
No, I mean, I'm talking more about what you set your
You've got the
screen
latest
brightness to on
invitation,
your
right?
own. If
Yeah.
to print images, and I guess I'm just gonna go with what, since I
It should be in your email.
use
from
Bay Photo, I'll go with what they
Probably
recommend.
Sunday.
That's for them printing. See, I print my
Yeah,
I print my
I think
own
it
and I
was
just
Sunday.
do it with the computer. I don't change anything.
If you dial your screen down, a few of those little bars, but not 65%, that's really dark. Then
That's-
you're really brightening your images a lot to compensate for that.
Well,
Oh,
for
really?
starters,
For Bay Photo, yeah.
there isn't a standard brightness because it depends on how bright the room is that you're sitting.
Of
Yeah.
course, it's yeah.
It's a huge
Looking
difference.
at X-rays.
And so I color calibrate my equipment.
Yeah.
And typically, there's a set of numbers you can go with. But I keep my room fairly low in brightness. I don't have any direct light on it. And one of the things I've noticed over the years is the monitors do have to get turned down significantly in brightness to reach their standard. And if you don't do that, everything else you do is worthless.
Right.
And that has to, so the first thing they do on color calibration is set the black point and the white point. And there are a bunch of options depending on how you want things to work as to which color space you want to work in. So it's not just sRGB, which is the worst of all of them. There's also Adobe RGB, which is a little bigger, but there's ProPhoto RGB, which if you use Lightroom, ProPhoto is the standard. You can't change it.
And
But
there's
it's a very
Adobe.
large and good color space. So what I've always been told to do is make sure that Photoshop is in ProPhoto RGB and Lightroom is in ProPhoto RGB for starters. And that color space is bigger than sRGB or Adobe RGB.
And when you
so-
print, when you got to print, you got to make sure that Photoshop's controlling the color, not your printer.
Correct. That's another thing.
Oh,
you
yeah,
have
for
to do.
sure.
But the issue is hang on, Kevin, you getting dialed in? Hello?
Well, when Linda said that people were getting different results, on the color rendition, the first thing I thought of is that they were processing different color modes, like what, he was just saying. Because like if the projector is basically in a regular RGB and you're using ProPhoto or Adobe, then that transition of how it dumbs it down comes out with different results. So if people are using
Well, here's the deal with the club. Everything is to be output in standard sRGB color space, which is the worst that you can get, but nonetheless, that's what it is. So the typical rule of thumb is you capture your image with the full quality of the raw file and the full color spectrum,
Then dumb it down.
and you leave it in the biggest color space you can have, in this case, ProPhoto RGB for both Lightroom and Photoshop. Do all your editing and manipulating, and when you're done, you output it back down to sRGB, and you lose a ton, but it tends to be good enough. But the problem you get into is if you set your monitor a little too bright or a little too dark, or your colors are a little off, then the output of that file won't come out correctly if shown on properly adjusted equipment. And I would say probably 2/3 or more of the club, they don't calibrate anything ever. And the calibration is setting the
Brightness and contrast.
video card. Well, what you happen when you go through a calibration, the calorimeter will display on the screen a set of known color values, a whole bunch of them. And then it reads what it sees on the screen. And it says, okay, there's a little difference between what I know I put up there and what I'm reading. So I'm going to make that adjustment to the video card in your computer. And that's how it looks correct between your computer and your screen. But you have to do the same process between your display computer, like at the club, and the projector. And if those are out of whack very much at all, therein becomes an issue. Like I say, the newer computers have a bunch more options. And that we could get and talk for hours on this, but for example, if you're a Macintosh user, you may see that there's a P65 color space, or that there's a Rec 709 space, or a 2020 BT. Those get into the HDR ranges. The other problem you run into, I'm using a calorimeter. I've got several of them actually.
Yeah.
And they're not bad.
Or the one, the I1. Or
I've got the I1 and the spiders.
Yeah.
But
it doesn't answer the question that she's having, where everybody has something different or stuff doesn't look right. So because everybody's not going to do that.
Well, I'm not talking so much about club. I'm actually talking about myself, because I'm thinking I'd like to start maybe doing a few print competitions, but I want to make sure that what I'm seeing on my screen when I send it out, because I don't have my own printer and I've got to pay someone and all that. How do I maximize
if you
my
calibrate,
chances that my image is going to look the way I think?
if you calibrate your computer to match a standard, and you calibrate your monitor to match a standard, then in fact you are proper for a given
Parameters
brightness
that
in the
are-
room.
Some of those places like Bay Photo will send you profiles if you want, that you can install and print to that too, but I've
Oh,
never had luck with that either, you know,
Yeah, because in theory,
for
the
the paper they're
receiving
using.
print place will have profiles that match their printer and paper to the standard. If your computer and monitor are matched to the standard, in theory, it all works. Now,
Okay.
there's about 12 places in between that you can get screwed up.
See, Bob Hagopian said he did his at Procam in Livonia there.
To get it calibrated.
No, he had them printed there and they look good the other
Oh,
night.
and it could be.
He
And
was
a lot
happy
of
with
times-
them.
I
He just-
didn't know they did that.
Yeah,
I
he
think they
found
just
that out and he
started.
did it. He said it was like $13 a print or something for
So that might be a good
for a
alternative. for-
size under 16 by 20. I forget what size he got, but they weren't the full size of the board. So 12
It
by
would be
18,
nice to
12 by
see
18,
it.
12 I think they're 12 by 18, something
It'd
like
be
that.
nice to see it right away, you know, instead of waiting for it to get shipped and then it shows.
Yeah,
up
that's why
and
he went-
off.
He went down there and had them done.
But I think almost all the color labs are still going to be printing at a maximum of 300 dots per inch and sRGB standard.
Yeah, that's what they told me to set all my stuff to. And like I said, they
Right.
said 65% brightness and then all that stuff you
Do
just.
they use the Rose software still?
Oh, I hate that. No, I refuse to
Because-
use it.
Because
Yeah.
that one there prints in the that what Bob just said. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
They have another one that's a little different quality or something. I don't know. But
yeah, they have their
I haven't done
own.
those in a long time.
Guild SMYK.
I haven't done those in a long
No,
time.
that's for, yeah, they don't do
Commercial stuff.
SMYK.
Right.
No, they're printing RGB.
But I've done a lot with Bay Photo for my bigger stuff and the metal prints, and
Metal's totally different than the paper prints. So
of course, I
Yeah.
mean, all these things have different luminosity.
Yeah.
So you gotta, gauge for that. But correct me if I'm wrong, but I seem to think that Bay Photo does handle Pro Photo RGB.
They might.
I think they do. I think
they
can
probably make adjustments.
And-
because
and
the gamut difference between those
it's,
different
it's
colors
enormous.
is huge. It's
You-
quantum's difference.
And I could maybe at a club sometime bring you some color space diagrams to show you.
Oh, it's huge.
If you're in sRGB, it'll show the whole color spectrum, and there's huge amounts of greens and magentas that just don't get displayed.
Okay.
But
Hmm.
that, again, that's
You'll get them bombarded with too much info,
yeah. It's
so that you don't understand. So.
well, one of the things you have to consider when you're printing is the luminous, how bright the papers are. Because
Right,
the papers are varying degrees of white or even amber,
right,
and that has a bearing on how your picture comes out.
right. And I like art paper for some of my stuff. That's a lot of times yellow or creamier.
My guess
Um,
is a lot of the print labs, the better ones, the guys do a little bit of adjustments if it doesn't look right to them on their screens.
They've always been real, I would, I'm just guessing, like say 9 out of 10, 90% are fine, and then maybe 10% or less or not, but they've always been really good about redoing them. Like if I call and explain what I'm not liking, what I'm seeing, usually they're like, oh yeah, I see it, we'll redo it,
Yeah.
so,
So they can eyeball them on their equipment and get it close.
right.
Yeah. Well, anyway, we could talk for hours on this. I mean, I print all my own stuff, and I run into a bunch of issues at times because I don't get all of the paper proofing and all of that coordinated. I use all standard Epson papers, and well, not all Epsons, but I use the color profiles. But man, there's a lot of ways you can screw it up.
Well, and it's tricky if someone asks you for a print and you've never printed something, and I'm not comfortable sending a print to somebody that I haven't seen first, because you don't know.
Well, if Bay Photo, and I haven't checked them, I haven't talked to them in ages, but if they're going to print in something like a large color gamut, whether it's P5 or Pro Photo RGB, that's going to improve your picture. It really is.
Sounds like I need to make a phone call.
Nothing's worse than printing in sRGB. It's okay for the web and low resolution, but Anyway,
Mhm.
Dive in the pool, Linda, buy a printer, watch some YouTube videos, figure it out, girl.
yeah, it's called
I
anger
can-
management. not
Burn
It's
through
color
some
already in
YouTube
over my
videos.
head.
You could do it.
You can
I already use
All
my
right.
cell
Go,
phone.
girl.
do the printing
Hey, with
yourself.
your skill and talent, you'll get the hang of it.
Oh, yeah.
Watch a couple YouTube videos, or JP Caponegro has a very thorough, thing on printing.
More info than you need.
I'll just come visit you.
Yeah.
So for
No,
you guys,
no, not me. I'm
guys
like
haven't
totally
noticed,
empirical.
there's a long lost prodigal son here with us tonight, Kevin.
Yep.
Hey, Kevin.
Hey,
I'll tell
Kevin.
you, I've been going through some rough times here. I was homeless for a week.
Oh,
Hmm.
shit.
So I finally got everything moved into this place and I'm hopefully coming out here at, 'cause I haven't done anything. I quit taking pictures for 2 years, but anyway, things are getting better and hopefully I'll even have enough money to join the club again, but I've been I'm hoping I'm back.
Okay,
Good.
we'll get,
Nice
we'll
to
get you
hear.
out one of these days.
Yeah. It's been
Okay.
Move on.
Shall
Health
we
things,
get
but it-
started for the night?
Yeah, let's get going.
I can't stay up too late tonight. I've got a very early flight in the morning. And we are
Okay.
recording.
All right, let me. Bob, these are yours, right?
Mhm.
Which, oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I was trying to fool my screen. Yeah, I went down to Detroit to photograph some night shots, but I got down there a little early and the stuff I wanted to photograph had construction equipment in front of it. So I just ran around and took the reflection shots and things I could and came home.
Look at the
early.
look what the glass did to the building up there.
Yeah, that's really cool.
That's cool. I mean, that's not something you did. That's just the glass reflections, right?
Yep, that's a glass reflection.
It's pretty cool. It's like it made it explode,
Yeah,
It's pretty
That's
cool.
pretty neat about, yeah.
and it was, I forget the exact time, but I want to say 4:30 or 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
And the reflections were just great.
Mhm.
So that's one in front of Campus Martius. And here's the right-hand side of Campus Martius building, or the, what is that, the Meridian building. Down below, that's an open, that's like a restaurant and bar. You see a guy back in there.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
above it has all those funny shapes, and look at all the reflections you got there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. And you've got nice separation of everything.
That's cool.
And it was just luck. And of course, I'm infatuated with the new building, so I went around and photographed it from various angles. This thing that they're lifting up by the crane is probably a little bit smaller than a car, but not much. It's good size.
I couldn't tell what that was.
Yeah, it's a
My
big
eyesight's
box.
not so good.
Yeah, it's a big box full of stuff, and I tried it in black and white as well.
I like it, but now your box, it's hard to see the line.
Yep, you
It
lose the
looks like
line, and
Looks like it's floating.
This
Now,
is great. Good
if
job.
you remember the building down there, the north side is the short side, but it's completely glass all the way around. And the right-hand side here is the tall tower, and the scaffolding that holds the crane up in the air is reflecting back off onto the glass here. That's all the red and the yellow and orange.
Looks like a lot of potential.
So here's what it looks like from the other side.
Mhm.
This is nice. I like it.
And of course, it was pretty dark at the bottom, but I had to lighten that up. I went to the corner, which is up by the Shinola Hotel, and looked straight up thinking I'd line everything up perfect, but the floors of the building are not lined up perfect.
One of those is recessed back, Mar. Yeah.
Yeah, and recessed
Where
and
you're
moved to
standing
the
there, they're
side.
not lined up. There's a big balcony on the front or something. on the
Anyway.
next one. Yeah.
That was about the best I could do as far as to eliminate obstructions.
I noticed that when I did that, I tried that too once, Bob, but this is
Oh.
nice.
Oh,
This is nice.
Yeah, this is the one I really had the fun with, and it didn't exactly look like that. I was at the 10th floor of the Z Park building looking at it, and I walked quite a ways north on the Z Park to get lined up on dead center. But that is the short side of the building from the ground floor all the way up in the frame. It was quite dark at the bottom. The bottom half was very, very dark. So
That's
I had to lighten it up a bunch. But I was really impressed with what I saw, because all of the yellow and orange colors in the middle, that's the Z Park garage being reflected back onto it, because the light was behind this building shining on the Z Park and reflecting back. And if you look about left of center, that little red thing, that's Greektown Casino building,
Hmm.
the parking lot. So that just shows you the different reflections.
That's cool though.
And anyway, I thought that turned out pretty decent.
Very good. Bob.
Yeah, I like that.
If you go to the east side of the Z Park garage and look down, this building, and I forget the name of it. It's another one of Bedrock's buildings. It's empty, but they've preserved all the bones.
Are you
Yeah,
using a
that's-
tilt shift lens, or are you just putting yourself in the middle of the building,
I know I was on the upper floor.
looking down? So
And
you corrected the
I
angle?
corrected it in,
Yeah, okay.
in Lightroom.
That's what I mean, you straightened it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is one, if you haven't been downtown very often, if you look to the right, that's Greektown. And we always go down there and park just to the left of those buildings. And we parked in a lot that had this building initial structure right in the parking lot. And it started off last fall as two big elevator shafts. And they built the dark gray on top first and then finished it down.
Hmm.
And they did it very quickly. So the idea of this picture is it's halfway between Z Park and Greektown, but that's a whole brand new luxury apartment building.
Looks like a circuit board.
Yeah. Well, I think they built it in modular chunks.
Mm.
The building I originally went down there to photograph was the Flatiron building, and they had a water main leak. And so I'm walking back all dejected, and I noticed in the gutter, there's all this sediment. And so there's 3 or 4 pictures here of different colored sediments.
I thought you were out west somewhere.
Yeah,
Looks like
What I thought.
a tidal flat, yeah.
Yeah. And so, and then this is only like 3-4 feet wide, but you can bounce through these. There's 3 or 4 of these.
oh, wow. That was a good spot. Well spotted.
So anyway, I thought I was going to have nothing out of this shoot, but
You got bubble gum in there.
I don't know about that. There's sand and gravel and all
The
kinds
last
of,
picture had bubble gum in it. See, pink at the
Bubble
top.
it's like an Indian thing.
The pink.
Huh. Oops.
Oh, this is one I sent Gary later. I just added motion. What, did I get the size wrong? Wow.
Yeah,
Whoops.
yeah, that must have been, I can open it up and, well, I guess not.
Yeah, it's not that big a deal. It's the
Okay.
same picture you saw earlier. I just added the motion blur sky.
That
So
looks nice.
anyway-
Did you just do that with like a streak of white?
Basically, I replaced the sky with some something with some clouds in it, and then I did the motion blur a bunch
Oh,
of
okay.
times.
I thought maybe you painted it.
No,
Okay.
I'm not very good at painting. So anyway, that's what I've been doing in Detroit area. Otherwise, I've just been shooting a bunch around the house, flowers and gardens and birds.
You
And
got
they're
some good bird ones. I like
Yeah.
Yeah, my best Oriole was today.
that was nice.
Yeah, I just sit on the patio and shoot it. Okay, I think Kirk's up.
Yeah, I've got 2 sets here, and you can go through them fairly quickly. I really love getting candid photographs of people, and recently I watched one of Greg Williams's courses. He's a very respected photographer among the Hollywood set, and has done a huge thing. And he is very, he loves imperfections in photographs, and he likes getting, there's photographs that either you're a participant in the photograph or you're an observer in the photograph. So, I took some of his concepts and I had that in my mind as I was doing these. And then the second set is a group of things that I just took of some dancers down at Marygrove College that I did last weekend. This happens to be the guy that I do a lot of my photo workshops from. That's Thor Johnson from Iceland, and just super great, high integrity guy that just doesn't charge enough for his workshops. So I couldn't recommend him more. I've done so much with him, and I'm going on a sailing boat with him next year.
Gary, can you make these larger?
I have to get, let me see. Maybe I can get out.
Some of these Patagonia pictures are gorgeous.
Oh yeah, I threw in a couple teaser landscape shots there, didn't I?
Let's see.
I think the last one on the list in particular.
Because I had these all at 2480, so that should be a decent size. Can you just drag and make the thing bigger, or doesn't matter?
Just look at the background there with the colors.
Yeah, this was this was after prime colors of fall. And on this little boat we were doing to see the glacier, they pulled us up and they chopped that up, and you have all your drinks with this glacier ice. And glaciers are actually not all that old. The oldest glaciers are only 400 years old. I thought they were thousands of years old, but because the progression, so all the glaciers in Iceland, at least, are no older than 400 years old.
So that's different than like sea ice.
Well, sea ice forms, comes and goes. There's all different kinds of sea ice, which is really kind of fun to learn about. These are the three guides. There's Thor, and then the guy in blue, Mike Musial. He is a Nat Geo photographer, and he's working real hard at being an up and comer. I mean, he knows Keith Lesninsky really well, who I know, who is just like a premier Nat Geo photographer, fabulous photographer. And Mike does a lot of like storm chasing, and he's done some incredible shots of volcanoes and things like that. And then the guy in the over on the right side, he is our Argentinian guide, internationally trained guide from in Canada. He's Argentinian, but it was because of him that we saw so many pumas. A very educated guy. Loved him.
Yeah, there you go. Beautiful.
Yeah, and so that guide, he took a picture of me, and that little house, that place down there, it's a really famous little hosteria, in Torres del Paine. Each of the Argentinian national parks are kind of like a one feature event. So all your photographs end up revolving around kind of one main feature, a little bit like going to our Tetons, where you've got that little bit of a range, and the photography revolves around that. Likewise in Patagonia. Thanks. This is the guide. The hat is very special. It is a merit badge of being a true gaucho, or an Argentinian cowboy. He has a huge history of that. This is a very talented guy. And he sort of wore it, in recognition of his history. He only wore that hat on the last day, and he knew I was going to photograph him in the morning light, and that's Torres del Paine. So this is a man truly in his environment. This was my hike that I started at 4 a.m. with headlamp for 4 hours. And I got up there for the early light on Fitzroy. a hell of a
Nice.
hard hike. And I like putting people, I like the human environmental connection. So this is just the hike after, coming down from that.
This is nice.
I really like this one, Kurt.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, that ice is not very thick. That's only maybe a 1/4 inch thick. So I took this shot laying over a big boulder, holding my camera, with the viewer, kind of tilted. And I saw the blue icebergs in the background, and what you see on the left, that's the tongue of the glacier coming down, which repeatedly calves. So you've got this whole lagoon with all these little icebergs in it. And then this was there, very thin ice that apparently the water level dropped. So the ice, kind of broke up. And the cloud then sort of formed, over the main peak there. And you see these lenticular clouds all the time.
Those
They're
are cool.
really cool environment. It blows like hell. I mean, 50-mile-an-hour winds are standard fare there. People literally get blown off of hiking trails and die. And, here's my people in the environment. A bunch of people had camped out at that site overnight. And, there's obviously a lot of photographers there. But, this is the land, this is what I surveyed. And then I found my little detail place to get my shot.
So this is fall there. Was it pretty cold already or?
Well, I was always wearing a ski hat and multiple layers. I don't think I ever walked around in a t-shirt, but with layers, I'm taking off and putting on layers all the time.
Okay, so it
That depended upon the wind.
wasn't super cold.
No, it wasn't super cold and it wasn't super hot.
Mm-hmm.
It was fall weather.
Yeah,
Oh, my last day, I don't know why I included this picture.
the clouds.
The
Oh
cloud.
yeah, the lenticular cloud. I was waiting for about 4.5 hours. I was photographing, if you see white spots on that cliff over on the right, that's where the condors, that's like the house of the condors. And this is a trail that only locals know. It's not a label thing, but I got an inside scoop about where to go. And one guy asked me why I was there, and I said, "Oh, to photograph the condors." And he goes, No, they're way over there. You see that big thing, and that's where the people are." And I said, "Yeah, exactly. But I know this is in Spanish." I said, "Yeah, but I know this is the house of the condors." And he kind of looked at me and smirked, and he goes, "See." So I played nature photographer and froze to death in the wind for 4.5 hours. Oh, and this little couple, they were so sweet. They joined me up there, and they asked me to take their picture. And that's the town. That's El Chaten, which is like climbers Mecca. All the world-class people that do Fitzroy and all those traverses. Then they had just left because then they all go to the Himalayas and do all those major climbs.
Wow.
Oh, that's one of my condor shots.
Yeah.
I
Nice.
wanted to be above them, because from below they're just all black. I wanted to show their white feathers. 9.5-foot wingspan. Now we're into my dancers. So I like to catch like intimate moments and candid moments of gesture. So that's what these pictures are about.
That's nice.
I like that. Yeah.
This was them, putting on their makeup, getting dressed for the performance.
They must be quite used to you because they're all
They
just so
are.
comfortable.
Yeah, I'm in a high trust situation with the dancers. And, I'm old enough to be most of their grandparent, their grandpa. But yeah, they really like what I've done for them. The university, their website is basically all my photography. This gal's talented. even dancers can get away with tattoos. This gal was actually, she was the choreographer for this. She's the one that invited me. And for quite a number of years, she and her husband were patients of mine. So I said, say, Amy, check your teeth and let me get a picture of that. So this was, I prompted her on this one.
But it still looks so natural. That's what I love.
Well, that's the key. That's the key.
Yeah.
You don't want this like,
Posed.
yeah, I'm kind of anti, I have an aversion to all this pose stuff. Like this to me is a very editorial photojournalistic image. That's,
Mhm.
and this gal, she was just finished her makeup. She was coming up a stairway and, she kind of stood up, looked at me and gave me a smile and, this kinetic coalition thing, which made sense for a dance environment. And that's Amy again. I think that's it.
Nice.
That's it.
Okay,
Very nice.
all right, let's see. I think we can do it the same way.
This was from Yellowstone. This is the iconic tree. And I wanted some critique on the black and white images because I don't know, there's just such a range of people's opinions.
I
And-
like this. I like this a lot.
Yeah, I do too.
That's really nice, Linda.
I like the way you
Yeah.
got the bison up there and it's something
Yeah.
different and
A
from what
nice
you've
bit-
seen. Yeah, every time you go there, it's always the background that makes the picture, the way the lines are.
Well, and so it was snowing super heavy and there's very little detail, which I feel like is
that's
always,
fine. That's
you
fine.
know,
You see enough.
Achilles heel. You see enough.
Yeah.
So you don't necessarily need to see the detail of the snow and it's,
No.
No,
What do people think about the border on it?
oh, I don't know. I don't care. I like
Oh,
it.
no, I'm asking other people there.
Oh,
I don't like that border on that image because it takes away from the minimalist,
See, that's what I think too.
to be blunt.
yeah. Well, if I were to put it in club, I wouldn't have that.
The
Yeah.
border, yeah.
Some
Some
of these
people
I
like, a
just-
lot of people, Linda, a lot of people like it or they don't like it, but
Yeah, I tend to I try to keep my borders simpler though for club,
Mhm.
but
That's pretty though. That's nice.
Yeah,
But what you were asking about the snow, Linda, absolutely, I would not give more detail to the snow because it would detract from those subjects and the lines that you've developed and the balance that you've developed. And it would becomes, more detail of the snow becomes like a distraction. You've got just enough to get a sense of space.
okay. All right. Thanks for saying that. Cause that's how I feel sometimes, like something that extra detail is more of a distraction, but
Mhm.
I didn't, yeah, thanks. That's helpful. So this is sort of in the opposite direction. I did a very low light on her, low key.
I remember we were there. That's what you wanted to do. You wanted real low light, I remember.
Yeah, and because it's something that appeals to me. So I was happy with how it turned out. Not sure, how it would be received, but not having a lot of experience with this type of thing, I was pretty happy with it overall.
Yeah, looks
But
good.
if you have thoughts or critiques or whatever, I'm open to hearing them.
I'm
The
not
only-
used, I'm not used to photographing this stuff either, so I can't really say much.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
biggest thing when you go, like in this case, dark, is people might criticize that you lose the separation of the person from the background.
Yeah, see, that's not bad though.
That can be personal taste.
Yeah. The thing that I see here, Linda, is, I like the low key image. And, one of my neighbors that's a film director, he said, hey, Kirk, the emotions are in the shadows. And the only thing that I see that competes in the wrong direction here is her arm is brighter than her face. I would
Mhm.
tone down that line of her arm a little bit. I love
Okay.
I love the gesture of her hand. And like that
Mhm.
what's his name? James Natchway, the war photographer. His images are all about hand gestures, and he's like iconic. But I would just bring up her face, the lightness of her face a little bit so that it's the, you know, the hand and her face are brighter than that
Then,
line on the
okay.
arm.
Yep, I see that now, yep, that makes sense. And
That's
this, I was just fooling around. I had a really hard time getting skin tone because of the light that was used. She just was so orange, and it was hard to take that out without her then turning gray. So
Yeah,
I did my best, and I was trying to put like dust in the picture, which, you know, I had mediocre success, but it was just fun to play with it. I had asked her to do this pose. I wanted it to look kind of Band on the Run. I thought she did a good job. It was tough with those shadows because nobody could tell where they would land
Mhm.
on her. And that made it a little tricky, so.
no, it looks good.
And this one, I actually think I sent the wrong image. I think I actually brightened this up to like a whole one stop. So my finished image is brighter than this, but you know, essentially it looks the same. And these were from Antelope Canyon, which again, it was part of our tour, and it was kind of presented to us as sort of an afterthought. It was like we had some free time during the day, and if you know you felt like going.
That's what the thing is. That's what most people want to go do.
Well, I had heard such doom and gloom, like, oh, it was so
Yeah.
awful now, you can't take pictures, yada, 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 but I was amazed. And
Was this
You
was this upper or lower? Was this the one you walked?
I
right
think it
into,
was
or-
upper. I
Did you walk in the end like a big opening, or did you climb down a ladder?
You had to climb down a very steep ladder.
Oh,
Okay,
that's
that's-
lower.
That's the lower then.
Oh, okay.
That's the one on the west side of the road, right? There's a visitor center there and everything, and
Yes, there was a
Yeah,
visitor
yeah,
center,
yeah,
and they
okay,
did a
yeah.
presentation.
Yeah, that's
Presentation.
lower.
that's
Yeah.
I think that's a good one for photography, actually.
But you know, with the cameras today, with you know, the ISO is pretty good, and the image
Yeah.
stabilization, I was,
The trick there is just to get right up next to the wall and shoot up.
yeah, right.
Because then,
shoot up. Everything is,
then you get that foreground in front of you there, like right away, you know, the curves.
well, and it's far enough away that you don't have to worry too much about
Yeah.
depth of field, and
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, it's just all above the head. But I was thrilled. I really had almost not brought my camera. I was just going to bring my cell phone, and I was
Oh my
so
God.
glad I did.
I know people, I
That's-
know people have great big metal prints like this on their walls in their living rooms and stuff, so
Yeah.
huge ones. I mean,
I know somebody who had a picture from the upper that he sold for $6 million.
Oh, that Peter Lick.
Yeah,
Oh, everybody
yeah,
there
he sold it
complained.
to a
about
friend of
Peter
his,
Lick.
yeah. So he could say he sold it, yeah.
Yeah, it's not exact. That story has been, that's not
Blown out of
exactly
proportion.
true. But yes, everybody talks about Peter Lick and rolls their eyes there.
yeah.
So, but this was back from Yellowstone, and this I used that Painterly Topaz 2. The sky was just really just white, and I loved the image otherwise, and so
So is this by the falls looking down the Grand Canyon
Yes.
on your way
Mhm.
back up to the car on the right side there?
yep.
Yep, see, I know right where it is.
So using Topaz 2 and a few of my
Yeah.
own clouds and stuff, I was able to change out the sky. And for me, it worked really, really well.
You always have to do something with those pictures there, yeah.
Yeah, because, you know, the sky was.
When the light's on this, it's not on, you know, it's different.
Mhm.
You got a whole files and files of those, yeah.
I like
And
this
then-
one.
Thank you. This was the same issue that was just a plain white sky, but I liked the rest of the image. I liked the lines in it. So I went into Topaz 2, and I didn't do anything up to the sky other than the treatment from the.
They look painterly.
Yeah, so it you know,
Like
it's.
a water, looks like a watercolor almost, you know, in the water, in the sky, yeah.
Yeah, because I think it's a nice picture. And
That's very nice. Good job.
Thank you.
Now, is it snowing there or is that fog?
That's Topaz 2.
Yeah, it's all done in there, yeah. Yeah, that's nice. Okay, I
Now
know where
this,
that is.
yep, the Bobby Sachs trees, and I entered this in club and it did really poorly. I was kind of disappointed. I thought I like it, but
I like it. That's a good picture.
Thank you.
You look last year, look at last year's year end, Keith and and Tom Egel both had won pictures in the prints in the year end. With
Yeah,
pictures from there, taken at different years, I think even.
Yeah.
But
Of the-
same kind of
of
thing.
the-
Where was this taken?
This is in Yellowstone,
Yellowstone.
and it's an area they call the Bobby Sox trees. There was so much snow that you really didn't see the Bobby Sox.
Yeah, you see on the first one
Bobby
there,
sock
see how it's white at the bottom of the trees?
It looks like they're
Oh,
wearing
bleached-
Bobby
They're
socks.
bleached, they're bleached out and they look like someone's wearing bobby socks, you know?
Yeah.
Got it. I think I know where that is.
Yeah, well, let's see.
And then this,
Mhm.
again, it was just snowing so heavily and one of our drivers had kind of gone off walking and I caught this and I really liked it, but I do feel it almost looks like he's photoshopped in there, but that is, that's how it looked and that's what I took.
That's nice. I like it.
Thanks. And Gary, I do think I used a tiny bit of the blur that you had showed us in Topaz 2
Okay,
to kind of mute the tire tracks a bit.
looks good.
And this is in Yellowstone. And again, I would hesitate to enter this.
It's
I feel
dark.
like people would tell me it was all blown out or something,
No,
but
no, it's dark on the
Yeah.
left side. To me, it's real dark,
well, it was really dark.
I know,
mean, it was a
I know, I
heavy
know.
cloud.
but it's
You
just
could lighten it up a little bit.
light, and you can light that up and darken up the other side. If you could even.
Is this close to Madison Junction?
I don't know the area that well, so I can't answer that,
Of
Bob.
course, Linda,
I actually, I
know
liked
it's-
the difference. I liked
know.
how one side was dark and the other side was.
I know of one photographer who's passed away, but his pictures, this would be almost black with just a little bit of white in it. Because that's,
Yeah, well,
he
Tom
processes,
Bernard does
he
that.
processes things really, really, really dark.
Yeah.
Ansel Adams.
That was from
too.
the dark side. I never really liked him either, but
Yeah, it's kind of subjective. I don't think it's
Yeah, it is.
necessarily
Totally.
wrong. And
Totally.
that's, as I said, that's why I hesitate to submit
This
it.
is
But
really well done.
That's
And the
nice.
last
Yeah,
one?
very good.
This was Monument Valley, and again, I wanted to make it a little bit painterly.
there is, yeah,
I love Frederick Remington, his works,
beautiful.
and sometimes his images have sort of that soft, almost pastel look. So that's kind of what I was trying to go for
Mhm,
in this.
it's beautiful.
Thank you. And this is a tree. I like to take my trees. I think trees are very challenging, at least for me. So,
You got a good one.
Yeah,
well,
nice.
yeah,
Oh, wow. Look at that.
that is
Oh,
excellent.
that's really nice, yeah.
that
Now,
turned
is
out
that a
really
sky
nice.
replacement?
So what I did on this one is I compressed it a little bit. I don't remember exactly how I did. I think it was in the, like where you do the vertical and I kind of did it by accident, but I liked how it looked and it worked. So I kept it, but that part in Lightroom where you can, I think it's does aspect sort of squish
Yeah,
it?
yeah, you're straightening it out or something, yeah.
Yeah,
Vertical,
And-
horizontal line, yeah.
it just helped put everything in the right place. So, yeah.
Was that a sky replacement?
I think it's a mix of what was there and one of my skies, yes, to add some color.
It looks like one of the sky replacement skies. It's
Yeah.
nice, though, really nice.
I try not to do just a sky replacement sky. I try to always include a little bit of my own. This just did it in black and white. Again, just kind of a different view for Monument Valley, none of the more iconic formations.
Mhm.
Really good use of the high horizon.
Thanks, Kirk.
Keith.
Well, this group's about street photography, so I thought,
It's a street.
That's a street. Yeah, that's very good.
You
this
kind
is
of
on
missed
the
the urban
Denali,
part, but
on the Denali Highway in Alaska, but
oh,
That's nice.
slick.
yeah, this is in the Dolomites, last October.
Wow. Really nice.
Those are excellent. That
Did you
hotel
s-
would qualify for Wes Anderson.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was gonna
Yeah,
say
it's
that.
got the symmetrical hotel, doesn't it? Yeah.
and the colors. Did
Yeah.
you stay there, Keith?
No,
Okay.
but we went out here a couple times, but this area,
Keith, did you crop that at all?
a little bit, not much.
No, I would, because I would wonder what that would look like if you had a little less water and a little more sky.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It might be there. I probably took several of these, so.
Looks like they got some evergreen tree problems.
Because, you know, I
No, that's fall color.
Dolomites with all their atmosphere is so cool. And then
Oh, really?
contrasted to the geometry, you know, and the colors of that, you know, hotel, you know, if that was just like, you know,
Mhm.
I like low and high horizons, I guess.
So Keith, those brown trees are deciduous?
Yeah, they're large trees, I think. And
Oh, cool.
they lose their needles, yeah.
Like tamaracks or larch, yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, when you're on these tours, you don't often get to call a stop. And I was able to pick this as a spot to stop and photograph, so.
Got nice complementary colors there.
That's nice.
Wow. That's sweet.
I guess somebody's got to live there.
That's nice, Keith.
I thought nice leading line there.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Look,
This is the classic shot here.
how is it?
Oh my gosh, how beautiful.
It really is. But we had to hike up to this hill to take this picture, and like 2 minutes after I got there, all the clouds just cleared out. And on the walk up there were beautiful clouds in the sky, the whole walk up there. And then I got this one, and then they just disappeared. But- and this is the other kind of classic shot here.
So the cows are just out there around that church?
Yeah,
God, they're in a perfect line. Couldn't have
yeah,
asked.
they were moving around, so I got a lot of different shots.
They
But
had 3 people out there carrying them around,
I was
right?
gonna say, isn't that cardboard silhouettes?
Right, right.
Hey, duck down so we don't see you, you know?
That's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's cool.
this was up in Grand Marais, Michigan. Just came out to and had these beautiful clouds. So I pulled out the wide angle and
It's great with those people in the distance that
oh, I
you're
do too. Yeah,
at your vanishing point. That's great.
So those people, the wide angle makes them look much farther than they actually were, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's
That's
just
nice.
out of Kensington. I just
You
kind
got
of
good tonality on that.
this is also at Kensington, one of the fishing piers out there on the west end of the park.
They just rebuilt those, didn't they?
Yeah, they're not too old. They're only a couple of years old, I think.
Yeah, I think during COVID, they,
That's kind of interesting, that shot. You know, the difference in texture, you know, of your foreground and background stuff. And I don't know, it just speaks of loneliness to me. It's a very interesting image.
I may have shown this one before, but this
Mhm.
was just a cell phone shot in the Munich airport. I thought you don't see food trucks like this every day. So, and this lighthouse was in New Zealand.
nice.
Okay. Let's see. I think I got everybody.
Kevin, were you able to send anything?
Yeah, I don't know if it went through. I sent them to your email.
You did, okay. Well, let me check that.
It's kind of last minute. Like I said, I moved, so my computer's down and I had to transfer everything to the laptop.
Here we go. Gary, I'm gonna fire them over to you.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of pictures from like 5, 6 years ago. It's interesting how I kind of club changes your view on photography and I kind of got my head into a different zone, not taking pictures for club. Because like you said, Linda, that one picture you had that was, I really liked it. It's more high
Contrast.
in it. And I still remember Doug had a picture that went into club and it just bombed out. And I thought, man, this is more artistic than any picture you guys have taken. And I don't know why the clubs like that. They don't like those high key pictures.
That's one of the benefits of the Wednesday night group.
Yes,
That's why I do Wednesday night.
yep.
Well, they have their prejudice. I mean, it's been a lot of years of seeing what they like and they don't like, and these are definitely probably pictures they won't like at all. I don't care, but that's what I did. I went through 5 years of pictures and just pulled out things that I like, and so I don't know how this will go, but anyway, this is just one of the firework ones that I had done.
From Windsor?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I
Did you-
went back into those pictures. I didn't realize I didn't do anything with those when we took those pictures.
Oh, yeah.
Did you use like blending modes on that one?
No, that was straight up
Oh,
just the
wow.
way it was.
Wow.
But and then in the car stuff, because my days of hiking are about 20 yards. So I've been doing a lot with the cars and then I'll take kind of a simpler part of the car and I guess I call it simple picture.
Hmm.
So I like getting the iconic, Snake and Shelby car and
Wow.
caught some sky parts in their reflection. And then the classic Bronco. I couldn't leave this picture out. I just love the car. And I've been doing a lot with getting back into it. I used to do it a lot, but graduate filters. And of course, this has gotten easier with Photoshop having a better selection tool. So it's a lot faster because I used to this would take me hours because I would use the one pen and I'd go like right around the whole edge. Anyway, it's just easier now. So that's just fun doing different colors. And then this is a butterfly picture I found. And
Just one you raised?
no, this is out at Greenmead in Livonia. I spent a lot of time there taking monarchs because they're a tough picture because if you want to get with the black and the orange, it's hard to get the right exposure on that. But This one, the sun was just hitting it and brought out the detail of their, I guess they're called scales, but, and then here I'm just using colors with, the graduate filters, and I like the blue and orange. And then this one this I didn't finish, but I was experimenting more with the dark black and white. So the only highlights I got are the headlights and the grill, and I didn't blend this too good, but I still liked it with a darker color.
Might be interesting in a square crop.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
Yeah,
cool.
that's cool, yeah.
I like that. Wow.
it's just a cool looking car. Now this I don't think I've ever turned this into club, but I bet it wouldn't do very good. But I just love this thing. I was driving back from Flint, and the clouds were right there, and it just cracked me up. I've never saw a king cone. I guess they're nationally ice cream thing, but the lighting was cool with the dark clouds, and the sun was coming through the front.
What's going on? It looks like there's a tree, or was there cloning? Were you trying to clone something up in the sky?
Over there to the
On the
right
right,
of it?
yeah.
Yeah. There's
Yeah,
like
it looks,
artifacts. There's some on the left too.
yeah, I didn't get that too good there.
Oh,
And then I did this for Big Daddy Roth. I didn't notice it, but when we were taking the cars at the Grand Prix thing, it was too small, and then I was blowing this thing up, but I didn't realize it had the Big Daddy Roth guy with the big eyeballs, and
hmm.
he's kind of what started a lot of, well, that, and see, that was the before.
Oh, wow. Is the car moving? The tires look like they're going.
Yeah, it's moving.
Okay.
And then this I couldn't resist. This is Hamtramck. And
I know where that's at.
yeah. But anyway, so I did some work on this one. I think the next picture, I looked it up, but the hot dog used to be this red color.
Hmm.
So I redid the red, and it kind of helped a little with bringing out the fork, because you don't notice that at first.
Go back to the other one. Okay,
Yeah.
And then these are pictures thanks to Bob.
Hello.
We were kind of worried about that storm,
Yeah.
weren't we, Bob? Actually, I think I have a before and after on this one.
See if I can get you in.
Um,
I don't see where you're trying to get in.
but there again,
Launch meeting.
Hmm.
that just worked out. I thought it was a nice black and white.
yeah, that's nice, but
Boy, that looks like that'd be hard to drive on uneven.
Yeah,
Jeez Louise.
I think they can
Yeah.
hydraulic
It on
them.
the screen.
they probably they can probably
Yeah.
raise the wheels up or something.
These are
Alright.
cool cars.
I like the color one too, there.
Yeah. Well, see, there again, I used just the graduate filter
I
behind
don't
it.
know.
Yeah,
I don't see it. Yeah,
Hmm.
I don't know.
And
Oh,
there-
yeah,
There, now see, this is clear. I added the sky to this
all right.
one.
We're almost done.
I've downloaded some of Keith's skies and put it in there.
These are on Lake Sinclair.
Alrighty.
Yeah,
Yeah, what are they doing right now? Whose are these?
These are Kevin's.
Okay.
Are these all from the Wednesday night races?
Yeah, this is, well, this is the shitty sky we had.
Yeah,
So I took it, no,
But those sales are such a strong subject matter. You don't really need, dramatic clouds on these.
clouds on it.
Yeah.
I'm not much of a sail guy, I guess that I think I like this picture, but it just
Mhm.
added a cloud to this one, I think, too.
these are difficult for us to get because we're bouncing around inside the boat and killing each other.
Yeah,
Pretty sharp.
Okay,
Is that it?
that's
Well,
it.
Gary, do you have some pictures?
Gary?
Um,
I got some, if you want to see them.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, let me,
Well, I didn't send you any. What I'll do is share the screen. I work this week. I sent in a submission for a calendar for Sierra Club. I just sent it in last week and I can show you what I put together to send
Go ahead.
in.
Okay.
Huh?
go ahead,
Okay.
sure.
Want me to do it?
Yeah.
I gotta go down it. Wait, now where does it say what happened? I don't have a
Your
big.
screen is at the bottom.
Okay, share screen. Okay, I went small. No, I got Linda. Okay, here you go. Okay, see, I gotta go to mine, right?
Yeah.
How do I get to my computer screen? iPhone, iPad, whiteboard, desktop one? No, share.
Yeah,
share screen.
move the cursor near the bottom and the share thing will come up.
Share
Yeah, the
screen.
green, it's in green.
Yep, share screen there.
I got Kevin.
That's not good.
Do I gotta have my video on?
Your video's on, we can see you.
Okay, yeah. So I hit the green thing, says share screen,
Mhm.
and I get this basic advanced files, desktop one, whiteboard. Share sound, optimize view clip, share.
Do you have the pictures open on your computer?
Oh, maybe not. No, okay.
You gotta open the pictures first.
gotta open that
Then
first?
share screen.
I can't do it while you guys are there, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah, I can do it once I get
You
the
can do it.
screen share. I should be able to do it right now. Okay, I gotta go find it. Wait a minute, what about this Mac? How do I get in? No, I don't want to leave meeting, cancel. Meeting. Why can't I get into my screen?
do you have the picture up on your screen?
No, I just want to go into my screen, into my computer.
Share screen didn't work when you.
No,
clicked it?
it's sharing my screen, but it's not sharing. Let me go in and try this again. Hold on.
Well, minimize up in the upper right-hand corner, minimize the zoom.
Up at the upper left-hand corner, right? Up here, minimize. I can red or green, full screen. Oh, there it is. Okay. Oh, okay. Now I can. Now I'll get you. Hold on.
We still see you though, not your screen.
I know. I'll get there. Let's find out. Oh, I know what I gotta do right on here.
Who's your friend there, Kirk?
Oh, this is Rigi.
Aw,
He's my he's the other part of me. He's my best buddy. You see us walking on the street sometimes, Keith?
Probably, that was, yeah, when I drive by there on North Main.
Yeah.
Okay.
Keith lives a little further down the road than where I live.
So how do I get rid of this box on my screen? Okay, here you go. Can you see it?
Nope,
Huh?
nope.
Oh, okay. I got my Lightroom open. Now I got to get to share the screen somehow.
You gotta share that particular screen.
To zoom. Share screen. Okay, right there. Share that screen. Lightroom unknown, Lightroom classic. Unknown. Why is it on there so much? Share. Damn it. Yeah, I got my Lightroom open. You can see across the bottom here. And what I want to do, you can't see that though, can you?
Nope.
No, so when you go to share screen, it should give you a choice of anything
Which-
that's open on your desktop. and you-
Yeah.
Then,
Don't use Lightroom, just to,
Well, that's where I got the pictures I'm going to show you from. Open system preferences. Okay, there we go. No, that's not it. Oh, well, so I've never done this before, so. Share screen, Dropbox. Guess this isn't gonna work.
do you have a copy of them that you sent to Sierra Club? Are they? in
You
the-
know, I do. Let me get, pull
Yeah,
that,
open
but then
that
I can't,
folder.
but then I can't go through them in a program. I can open one at a time on there. Yeah, it's on my desktop.
You could open it with preview.
Yeah, no, they're the low res JPEGs then too.
Hmm.
That's okay. Yeah, I guess I'll say forget it. Sorry.
Well, we'll do them next time then.
I don't know why I can't do, I don't know why I can't do it. I was just thinking of it. I said I should be able, because I've done that before. You just share the screen and you get my
You
screen up
click-
there and I can open up whatever I want, right?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
click on the share screen and then you have to click on which screen.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, you can only do one window.
yeah. Open system, I'm getting a thing, allow Zoom to share your screen, open the system preferences, security and privacy to grant access. Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. Okay, I don't know. All right, never mind. Sorry. Guess that's it. So I'll leave.
All right, Gary,
Uh,
yeah, I suppose you got a red dress you're gonna show us.
no, what I wanted to do is give you an update on where I am with, let's go back to, okay, can you see Firefly on screen?
Yeah,
Okay, so have any of you applied for being a beta tester?
I
for
have,
Adobe?
over at
no,
No? I did that about 3-4 weeks ago when they first opened it up, and it took a couple of weeks. Then I heard back from Adobe, probably because I've been spending my money on their products for 20 years or so. They granted me a go-ahead to be on the beta team. And this is their website. You can get to the website, but you can't do anything until you're given the pass to go ahead and become a beta tester. So how this works is, if you haven't used AI before, is you put in a prompt, and depending on the prompt, you can get all these kind of results. And so right on the bottom here, I'll do something real simple here. Baby rabbit in leather jacket with sunglasses. And so what this is going to do is create 4 options. And on the right-hand side, you'll see this menu system, and you can do everything from change the ratio from landscape to portrait to square to widescreen, and it will adjust the picture accordingly. Then there's a whole series of these different styles that you can go through for different combinations. And some of these are watercolors, or themes, techniques, effects, and on, color and tones, lighting, composition. I mean, there's literally 50 or 60 different options. When you start multiplying that out, you get thousands of different ways you can do this. And as you keep changing your prompt, what you can do is tell it to, you like this is let's say this is the starter one that I like. What I do is ask it to do variations on that, and it'll go out and do variations. Now, the key to this is the description that you're giving it, because it's trying to imagine what you're thinking, and you're trying to have a conversation with the computer to give it enough information where it can create the kind of a look that you're trying to envision. And this can go on forever. So there's a lot of options, but you have to remember this is really in its infancy. I mean, if this was the beginning of digital photography, we're back to like 2 megapixel cameras in terms of where this thing is right now. This is still in beta. AI has been around with photography for probably less than a year with some of the other products. But this thing is just so basic right now. I mean, the resolution that you're getting from these images, if I ask it to, and this is probably life size. So this is going to be a 6x8 or 6x9 image if you download it. And if I want to download it, I just hit the download button. It gives me that option. If I wanted to send this back to Adobe and say, I got something that I really think you might like, then I would send it to Adobe. They would know who sent it in, and they'll look at it. So I've been playing around with this for about 3 or 4 weeks. And
What
what got
happens if
me,
you do photo? Does it look like an actual photo?
okay, good. Yes, I should explain that. There's photo, there's graphic, and there's art. So if I say photo, it goes through its own database of information and tries to use that as a basis. In this case, because it's kind of a fantasy kind of an object, there's not too many pictures of rabbits running around with sunglasses and leather jackets. It's actually going to try to create it as a graphic. And so in this case, the difference between graphic, photo, and art aren't going to be a whole lot different. You're going to see the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So here's what I did, and what inspired me is the screen shoot that you went to. I think this is Bob's picture, and I missed that. And I thought, wow, these are really great pictures. What if I gave some information to Firefly and tried to have it simulate a virtual photo shoot? So it's only going to be as good as the description that I gave it. So I ran out this long description trying to explain that it was a beautiful model with long dark hair, black dress, leaning against a backdrop in a studio with a shadow of an open window. What else? Dramatic lighting, and on and on and on. And so I gave it that information. And then I started, let's see if I can get it going here. So here's some of the results I got. And remember, this is beta. This is, it's just getting started. And some of the stuff looks distorted, it looks strange. And the more information you get and the more times you click on, go in this direction, go in that direction, it's going to go off in different tangents. And it kind of learns. And look at these fingers here, how weird, they are, but that's all part of the program right now. It's they're trying to improve it. But some of these, look like they're actual photographs, which they're based on photographs. So this is going to get better. So my next step was, what if, I wanted to have my own virtual photo shoot? I wanted to tell the computer what kind of a model, what the model was wearing, all kinds of things like, maybe multiple images, swirling dresses, breezes coming through, and things like that. So I'll show you the results of a couple that I finally ended up with that I liked. And this got very involved, and I spent hours and hours on this. Probably did 1,000 images, saved about 100 of them, and made some variations. So here's some of the things that I ended up with.
These are nice, Gary. Good job.
this is, I asked it because it's having trouble with faces right now. I thought I'll ask it to shroud the face so that you couldn't see it. So it would, and make it abstract, make it watercolor, flowing lines, swirly things, and on and on and on. So this is one that I liked. Here's another that I liked.
Hmm,
And here's another.
wow.
But I'll go through a whole, list of these right now. This is where I started, where I picked the model, long flowing blonde hair, flowing dresses, red and white, blurred background.
Well, photography clubs having a problem with this?
I would think so. And then I got into the really abstract, angelic type, with wings and the whole business, just to try and see what I'd come up with. And it was scary, I mean, who thinks of stuff like this? My grandson looked at it and he said, "Grandpa, this would be great album covers, for
Yeah.
me."
Yeah.
I mean, some of this is just, how can you imagine stuff like this? I mean, some of it's good, some of it, but it's all very, very strange. So, where is all this going? It's scary to think about it.
Where's the one you posted?
Well-
That you sent me?
Those are on let's say the Flickr site. These, let's see. These are the three that I said I liked. That one, and that one. And then there was another one, this one too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really nice there.
Yeah, that's the one. I
Good
was-
job.
But you can see how, you can call it abstract, but the arms are distorted. They're a little bit longer than they should be. The face has some distortion to it, but look at all the details. And I mean, some of this is just really beautiful.
Were you?
How would you create that?
If you had a model, you could, if you know Photoshop well enough, you could make all this.
Yeah,
In a few days.
Maybe.
maybe, but then in this discussions and the notes that I'm getting from Adobe, the goal here is that you're going to take one of your pictures and tell it how to change it to make it look something like this. So I could take a picture of my granddaughter and just say, put her in a red and white dress with long flowing blonde hair in a situation like this. And the AI would go in and generate something based on that description and something like this. So, I mean, you really have to let your mind run crazy and wild about where this thing is going.
And I think it's
I
gonna
don't think
be,
it's not going to take long.
No,
A
I
year
think
from
it's
now,
gonna-
it's going to be crazy good. 5 years from now,
oh,
it's going to be
well,
insane.
I think it's gonna be a back end to features and functions on things like Lightroom and Photoshop and Camera Raw, where this is just there and you give it commands and it runs out and does this.
I mean, you'll be able to ask things like, give me this as Edward Hopper might paint this picture, and then it'll give you an exact recreation of an
Wow.
Edward Hopper with something that he would do like this, or an Andrew Wyeth. Even stuff if you're doing Wes Anderson, you could do that. You could do Henry Cartier-Bresson, and at some point it's going to be installed in your camera. So you're going to have a menu system in your camera, almost like the Fuji does with their film simulations, where you can say, give me Van Gogh type pictures as I take them. And it's going to, you'll point the picture or your camera in a direction, and the software is going to envision what that would look like if, I'm making this up, but I really believe that's where we're going, and in 5 or 10 years.
Well, and to give you an example, my latest camera has got a specific AI computer chip built into it to help with the body part identification for autofocus.
Yeah, I feel sorry for wedding photographers. Everybody's gonna want to look so perfect and, oy.
You know, I'm a retired
Pandora's
architect,
box.
and I'm already seeing stories where, you know, architects literally will become obsolete if they can't handle this transition to artificial intelligence, because you know, computers are going to be able to come up with more creative designs and quicker, be able to take that information, do the construction drawings based on, you know, how much information you have put into a system. Once you start digitizing floor plans from other projects, like an apartment building, there's only so many ways you can lay out floor layout for an apartment complex, and rooms, and, you know, bathrooms, kitchens, living areas. You know, it'll give you 50 different variations. What's the most economic? You know, what's the best workflow in a, you know, getting through the space, on and on and on. And it's going to be able to do it, you know, literally in hours versus months. And you know, do 3D renderings, do 3D walkthroughs, change the materials, you know, as to whatever you want, showing at different times of the day. And the same thing is going to happen with medicine. I mean, this is going to affect every phase of our life.
Yep.
And I think for good. I think people that are afraid of it, you know, are making a big mistake. I mean, as long as we can use this for good, I think it's going to be great.
I think where the fear really comes in is when they get into emulating the human thinking pattern to where they begin to make decisions on their own and it can run away from you. That's probably worth some worrying about. But I think the bigger issue is it's going to disrupt the hell out of a bunch of occupations.
Right. If you think you're going to be, you know, displaced and replaced by a computer, you know, you're going to be frightened. Yeah. And, you know, but look at the assembly lines in factories now. You know, 25 years ago, they were worried, you know, robots are going to take over. They took over. You know, almost all assembly lines now are done by robots. And
But it's just art.
it's art. Yeah.
It's
Get
just
over
hard
it.
to know anymore, like what's real. And I feel like there's so much pressure on people to become these unrealistic, idolized beings. This is just going to add to that. You know, I just think social media, what it's done for young people and their self-image, you know, it's really wreaked havoc on mental health for young people. And
They should
this is just
eliminate it.
gonna-
I'd say goodbye to all of it.
I can
No way
actually
you can
speak to
stop.
a couple of these issues. My son has a master's in architecture from Yale. He worked in an elite LA design firm. He was the lead designer for Detroit Square project, coordinating all the cultural arts centers, you know, in Detroit. He now works for Bedrock. And you know, everything in architecture is being designed according to supply chain, you know, what's available. So things are getting really dumbed down fast and automated. And that's why he just got accepted to Ross Business School to do an MBA. And it's a shame because this is Frank Gehry and Peter Eisenman, you know, critiqued his work, and, you know, this kid should have been a rising star. The other thing where you were talking about with your cameras and stuff, another young man that I know that got scholarship all through college from the Defense Department, brilliant kid. He got disillusioned, you know, projecting, you know, missile programs and, you know, trajectories and things, and Apple stole them away. And he is now in charge of designing hardware that will, you know, it's within the phone camera, whatever, that is going to have super high density video saving ability and AI. And this kid's like on the spearhead of that. So it's going to be it's not just going to be software on top of software. It's going to be right in the hardware systems of
Absolutely.
of these things. Yeah. So, I mean, it's
And
then,
it's not just art, because this stuff can, in fact.
oh, no, you mentioned medicine. I mean, medicine, it's tremendous because, you can be in some little village, yet have access to all the great minds of the world, and you can be a small town doctor.
Well, see, one of the parts of Firefly references colorizing vector images, but the natural follow-on to that is replicating vector images. In other words, like Gary was talking about, you've got floor plans for a building. Those are all vectors, and you can go in and mathematically modify those and eventually be front-ended by keywords.
So I sent a couple of these to Adobe this morning, thinking that, they might be interested. About 2 hours later, I got an email back from Adobe asking if I'd be interested in doing an hour-long video conference interview on how I'm using the program. So
Good job, Gary.
Yeah, there you go.
Made it.
yeah, so I don't know if they're going to be able to understand what I'm doing.
Maybe we'll see your image as the new, Photoshop 2024.
Oh gosh, I don't know where all of this is going. I really don't. And it's I'm rather than saying it's terrible, I'm going to embrace it and try to make some use of it.
Things are going to get cheaper. You don't have to hire a model. You don't have to make the dress.
I mean, if you wanted to set up a studio where you wanted to do a scene like this, can you imagine what that would cost?
That's what I mean. This is fast
Kevin,
and cheap.
I believe it's Levi has already said they're going to be using AI generated models for clothing and do their ads strictly from AI and not have to have the models.
Well, the film industry is doing this with known actors already. They can
Sure.
make a whole film without the actor there.
Yeah.
No, I mean, and it's like you can't tell the difference.
And you can bring back people that are no longer alive, you can bring back Cary Grant and Katharine Hepburn, and you can make your movies over with them.
Yep.
Right.
Well, lots of conjecture here, but it's coming fast, and if you think you can stop it, you can't. There's too many people with too much money.
I don't think there's any place for stuff like this in a camera club, but I think in terms of enjoyment and understanding art and playing around, there's a lot of fun to be had here.
It doesn't matter if you can sell this. What difference does it make if it was a real photographer doing a picture? It doesn't matter.
Well,
This is art. People like it or they don't.
yeah, well, if you're going to generate art, forget the camera clubs. One of the things Terry White said, who's the Adobe guy, he was talking about that some photographers are already using it to generate pieces of images. So take your wedding photographer and who's got the nice picture of the bride, but he may actually introduce doves with certain color patterns and things that could augment the picture.
Oh,
that's already being done.
Well, that's kind of what I was speaking to. Some of that I think is kind of dangerous because then everybody will expect, to look perfect. And, they can, I don't know, they can do a lot already, which is Photoshop. I mean,
Right.
It just takes it that extra step.
Well, do we have anything else this evening?
Do we get to watch you on your Adobe Photoshop seminar,
Yeah,
Gary? We do?
I'll mention all of you in my
Yeah.
interview.
You owe it all to the Wednesday night group.
Oh gosh.
But good job, Gary. I think you you know, shows how your
Oh,
talent.
you're having fun
anyway.
with it. That's the main thing. You know?
Yeah, it's a lot of
Yeah.
fun, and it's another learning process.
Yeah,
You know, I mean, can you imagine that a year and a half ago, this didn't even exist
right.
for us, and now this, it's taking over the profession really, and it's so exciting.
Well, good job. Those were nice pictures. I liked them.
Yeah, I liked everyone's photos there. Good job,
Yeah, everyone.
Yeah,
did.
everybody. Yeah, that was a good night.
Good mix.
Linda, you're doing so well. I love where you're going with your pictures. Don't let that club ruin you. Just,
That's right. We're out to ruin her.
that's all right. Well, it's
I'm
just
too stubborn.
psychological, you know, you've got to, it's I mean, it has its purpose. It's a good thing, and I've learned a lot from it. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just some of the people in there are not very artistic.
Yeah,
Yeah,
But-
it's not a fine art club.
No,
but there is stuff to learn.
there's
And,
still a lot to learn. No,
Oh,
there's,
hell
you
yes.
know,
but the biggest thing is, as anybody will say, is just be yourself, you know.
Right.
Right.
I
Don't
mean,
worry too much
I
about what
remember
other people think.
when I went to the club, it was all birds and that's it. And then
Bugs on a stick.
when I brought in a car, it was like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
Luckily, I actually won something with it, so now they can't say anything, but
That's right. You got a year-end trophy or something, didn't you?
yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Beat Bob.
That's all.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
Mike,
you-
bunch of ribbons for you that he can't seem to get rid of.
For Kevin, yeah.
Well, who's got ribbons?
You do.
I do.
There's a whole pile of them I got for you.
Well, I'm thinking I can rejoin that because I'll have $30. I don't have the money right now, but I'll get back there.
Actually, Jerry made you. So I took over Jerry's spot. I'm still kind of new at it, but you're actually an associate member right now. So
You
I
can,
believe you,
yeah, you can
can be-
access the website and all that.
right.
You just
Oh,
can't
okay.
enter
You just can't compete.
until, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I want to. I just, like I say, things have been pretty rough here and my health is really took a new direction, man. I'll tell you, it's like
That's gotta be a bummer.
yeah. Well, I mean, I went through 2 weeks ago where I was I guess I don't know what to call it, but it's like a seizure.
Mm,
And I was driving and I'm only at 25 miles an hour and this seizure hit me and I almost hit 3 cars.
oh, that's scary.
Oh, that's scary, yeah.
I mean, I took one guy's mirror off. I go, that's how close I almost hit the car. And I'm going, what's going on? And then I'll just be standing and then I just fall to the ground.
Mm,
So it's been, and no one knows what's going on. And they don't, so
Yeah.
that's where you learn the practice of medicine.
Yeah.
But
We'll get you back out like we talked the other day.
I've been doing good. I haven't had any of these weird seizures and but then my walking's gotten so bad now that like I say, I can only go about 20 yards without sitting down.
They do the tilt table test on you?
No. I don't know what that is.
For the crystals?
What's that?
Oh, no. It's a cardiology thing.
Oh, that, okay.
Yeah, well, I've had 3 heart attacks too, so
Well, anyway,
things
Forget
are
about
not going real good anyway, but
Well, it's good to see you, Kevin. I'm glad you're back.
yeah, I'm feeling better. And it just I get depressed over not being able to walk and take pictures. It's annoying. And plus I had to quit working and I loved what I was doing before. I mean, I did 50 years of no work. It wasn't work, it was fun.
Yeah, that's hard.
So you get that taken away from you. I just got to get over the hump. Should be
Okay,
Shouldn't be a problem, but I make it a problem. So anyway, doing better. It feels fun to get back in the photography. I look forward to getting back to the club and
Yeah.
Okay, and Bob, I did send the checks in the mail, so
Okay,
just let me know when
it'll
you,
auto renew. Okay,
we-
guys,
can we- Can we pay with a charge card?
what?
They have
uh,
PayPal on the, no, they don't have.
No.
no, they're-
cash or check.
The Ann Arbor Club has PayPal now.
Okay.
You can- oh, yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
living,
Venmo.
Yeah.
I've
Venmo
moved
would
on.
be a good thing.
I'm pretty close to Jerry, so I can get the money to him.
All right, guys, are we done for the evening?
Yep.
All righty. It's been a good meeting.
That's
Thanks,
fun.
everybody.
Thanks. Bye, everyone.
Bye all.
Okay,
All right.
see y'all soon.